program called Robot Roundup. Now, this is going to be a program that is split between two different robots that we have here at the museum. We will be demoing both, showing you how both of them work, their different capabilities, and we are going to be talking about them throughout the show. Now, this is going to be largely guided by you all. We want to know what things you're curious about. We want to know what questions you have. So think of this as a huge group Q&A together. If at any time you have questions or curiosities, just raise your hands and I will come over and talk to you on the microphone. One last thing before we get started. We do have a pretty interesting layout here with this robot pen that is around the stage. I will ask if you are sitting or if you are like near the plastic barriers, you can sit down so that the people behind you can see. That way we can have the most visibility possible. And also, if you're close to the barriers, please keep your hands off of the top. That is because we do not want anybody to get pinched by any of the robots. At no time will any of us, including us working here, touch any of these robots. So we just want to practice that safety standard by not reaching out or touching the robots. Does that sound okay? Give me a thumbs up if that's okay. All right, awesome. Then let's get started by talking about our first robot, this humanoid robot. This is a robot made by the company Unitree, and it is called G1, or that is the version of it, G1. Here at the museum, we call this robot Stompy because it stomps really loud. G1 is it's the second version of a humanoid robot that Unitree, the company, has made. Unitree was developed in 2016, and this robot in particular, this version was made in 2024. So it's a fairly new type of robots that this company has. The museum has only had it for a few weeks now, so we are still learning about it. We are still getting used to driving it and its different capabilities. So bear with us in case anything funny happens. I think that's a good amount of context from me. I want to know if any of you have questions about the robot, or if there's anything you're noticing that you maybe want to point out. If you have anything you want to say, you can put your hand up, and I will come to you, and we can talk about the robot together. Any hands? Look, I see a hand over here. What are you thinking about? Good question. What does this robot do, right? Why do we have this robot here? Now, this robot, something that's pretty impressive about it, is the fact that it can balance. It's walking on two legs, just like a lot of us can balance on two legs. This robot has a pretty awesome capability to keep its balance. It can mostly balance on a flat surface, but it can also do something a little bit more complex, like this teeter-totter that we have in the middle of this robot pen. So this robot is pretty good at staying on its 2 feet. We'll see it demonstrate right now its walking and balancing capabilities. Go, Stompy, go. Okay, nice. So as the teeter-totter is kind of going up and down, the robot is able to stay balanced. So that's pretty impressive. That in and of itself is a pretty awesome feat of robotics and programming. This robot, beyond that, doesn't have that many capabilities. This is a robot that is largely a proof of concept by the Unitree company. So by showing that it can balance, it is something that can continually be built on. So think about some future possibilities that a robot like this might have. This robot specifically, we can't add any functionality to it, but there are other versions of the G1 robot where you can program it to do some extra things. So if you look up the G1 robot online, perhaps you can find a video of the G1 robot doing backflips and things like that. But this robot, not going to do it for us because we do not have the programmable version of it with us today. Good question. Any other questions? Yeah, what are you thinking about? Good question. How much does this weigh? This robot weighs about 70 pounds. So it weighs about 70 pounds. It can carry about 10 pounds. But the more that it's carrying, the more unsteady it's going to get. So if it had like a backpack on it, probably the max it could lift is about 10 pounds. So good question. Any other questions? Yeah.
How many hours of charge does it have?
Good question. So it takes about 1 hour for the battery of the G1 robot to charge, and the battery can last about 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours. when the robot isn't in use, the battery comes out in order to save the battery limits. So most of the time, it's just charging the battery. I think I saw another question over here. What do you think of that? Ooh. So we're seeing the robot walk on 2 legs. Can the robot walk on 4 legs? This robot cannot walk on 4 legs. This robot is going to stay on 2 legs. It can keep its legs really straight, or it can bend its legs and get really, really down low. What we will show in a few minutes is a different robot that is able to walk on 4 legs. So keep that in mind. That was a really good question. And in a few minutes, we'll do some comparing and contrasting of 2 different robot types. All right, another question over here.